All right, welcome to the deep dive, everyone.
Yeah.
Today we're diving deep into a story from the book of Exodus,
Right.
chapter 16 for you.
Right.
The story of Manna and Quail.
Yeah. It's classic.
A classic story. It's a story a lot of people have heard,
Absolutely.
but we really want to take some time for you
Right.
and kind of dig into it.
Yeah, dig in.
What's below the surface?
See what's there.
So if you like quick but thorough understanding of things, I think you're going to love this episode.
I think so too.
We're going to break it down.
Yeah.
See if there's any little nuggets of wisdom
Yeah. Hidden
in there for you.
little Easter eggs
Yeah.
in the text.
All right, so the scene is set.
Okay.
The Israelites have left Egypt, and they're in the desert of Sin
The desert of sin.
between Elim and Sinai.
Yes.
It's about a month and a half after they left Egypt,
Okay.
the 15th day of the second month. So they've been wandering in the wilderness
Right.
for a while now.
Yeah.
Things aren't going great.
Not going great.
They're not having a good time.
And understandably so.
Yeah.
They've gone from a life of slavery
Right.
to a life of uncertainty
Yeah.
in the wilderness.
Right.
I mean, they were slaves in Egypt,
Yes.
but they had food.
It did.
They had shelter.
Yeah.
Now they're out in the wilderness.
Right.
They don't know where their next meal is coming from.
Yeah, their survival is at stake.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so this leads to some grumbling
Yeah.
among the Israelites.
Sure.
They start to complain
Yeah.
against Moses and Aaron.
Of course, yeah.
And here's what they say.
Okay.
Quote, "If only we had died by the Lord's hand in Egypt.
Wow.
There we sat around pots of meat and ate all the food we wanted.
Right.
But you have brought us out into this desert
Yeah.
to starve this entire assembly to death." So that's pretty harsh, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty harsh assessment of their situation.
Yeah, they're not happy.
No, they are not.
They're really not.
Not at all.
What stands out to you in that complaint?
Well, I think what's really striking to me
Yeah.
is that they're longing for the past.
Right.
They're remembering the food
Right.
that they had in Egypt,
Yeah.
but they're forgetting about the oppression.
Right.
They're forgetting about the slavery,
Yeah. The
the
heart.
hardship that they endured.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show,
Right.
how present hardship
Yeah.
can sometimes make even difficult memories
Yeah.
seem preferable.
Yeah, because you're just focused on what's immediately.
You're in survival mode.
Right.
So all you can think about is,
Yeah.
I need to eat,
I need food.
I need water,
Right.
I need shelter.
Yeah.
And so those basic needs
Yeah.
are not being met in the wilderness.
Right.
So they're thinking back to a time
Yeah.
when they were at least, having those needs met.
Even though it was terrible otherwise.
Even though it's, a terrible situation.
But at least they had food.
Right.
So how does God respond to this? I mean, it's a pretty intense complaint.
Absolutely. And the Lord responds to Moses,
Okay.
and he says, "I will rain down bread from heaven for you.
Yeah.
The people are to go out each day and gather enough for that day.
Right.
In this way, I will test them and see whether they will follow my instructions.
Okay.
On the sixth day, they are to prepare what they bring in, and that is to be twice as much as they gather on the other days."
Okay. So right away we see
Yeah.
there's a test involved
Excellent.
in this provision.
Yeah, it's not just about providing food.
Yeah.
It's about
Yeah.
seeing if they're going to trust him
Right.
and follow his instructions.
Yeah. So it's not just about meeting their physical needs, but also about shaping their behavior.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
Fostering their trust,
Uh-huh.
in him.
In something beyond themselves.
Yes.
Right.
So it's a spiritual test as well as a physical one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So imagine Moses and Aaron
Okay.
having to go back to the Israelites and tell them this
Oh, yeah.
after they just complained
That's going to be tough.
pretty intensely.
Yeah, they're kind of stuck in the middle there
Yeah.
between God and the people.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, you're not grumbling against us. You're grumbling against the Lord.
Yeah.
And here's what Moses says.
Okay.
Quote, "You will know that it was the Lord
Mm.
when he gives you meat to eat in the evening
Okay.
and all the bread you want in the morning,
Right.
because he has heard your grumbling against him."
Uh-huh.
Who are we? You are not grumbling against us, but against the Lord.
Yeah.
So it's like they're trying to deflect a little bit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, hey, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, don't be mad at us.
Right.
We're just relaying the information.
Yeah.
Be mad at the one who's actually in control here.
Right.
Yeah.
So that night,
Right.
Quail, appear.
Right.
And they cover the camp.
Nice.
So there's their meat.
Yeah, dinner is served.
Dinner served, right?
Okay.
And then the next morning,
Okay.
after the dew evaporates, this strange substance appears on the ground.
Okay.
And it's described as like thin flakes, like frost on the ground. And this, of course, is the manna.
The manna. Yeah.
The manna that we're talking about. And what's so interesting is that when the Israelites see it,
Right.
they don't know what it is.
You don't recognize it.
They have no idea.
Right.
They look at it and they're like, what is it?
Yeah, what is this stuff?
And in Hebrew, they say, man-hu,
Man-hu.
which some scholars believe is where we get the word manna from.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, so they're totally dependent at this point.
Yeah, they're reliant on whatever this is.
On this unknown substance.
Yeah, they don't know what it is.
To survive.
Yeah.
And Moses steps in and says,
Okay.
it is the bread the Lord has given you to eat.
Okay.
So God has provided.
He's provided.
He's come through.
Even though it's this mysterious, strange substance.
It looks weird.
Yeah.
They don't know what it is.
Right.
But
it's there.
It's bread.
Yeah. And he gives them very specific instructions on how to gather it.
All right.
He says, quote, everyone is to gather as much as they need.
Okay.
Take an omer for each person you have in your tent.
An omer.
So an omer is the unit of measure.
Okay, got it.
Here.
Yeah. Like a cup of flour or something?
Yeah, like a specific amount.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is that some people gathered more, right? Some people gathered less, but when they measured it out by the omer, everyone had exactly what they needed.
Wow, so it all worked out.
Yeah. It's like God's provision was exactly what they needed.
Perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
And the text actually says, the one who gathered much did not have too much, and the one who gathered little did not have too little.
Right.
Everyone had gathered just as much as they needed.
Yeah.
So you can't really argue with that.
No.
Right.
God's
math.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Always works out.
But there's a catch.
Okay. What's the catch?
They can't hoard it. They can't save it.
Okay.
Moses says, quote, no one is to keep any of it until morning.
Don't save it.
Yeah. Just gather what you need for the day.
For the day.
And that's it.
Got it.
But of course,
some
people didn't listen.
Yeah. Some people never listen.
Right.
Yeah.
They saved some for the next day. And what happened?
What happened to the manna?
The manna was full of maggots and began to smell.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah, gross.
That's disgusting.
Right.
So it went bad.
It went bad.
Yeah.
Moses was not happy about this.
No, I bet he wasn't.
This disobedience.
Yeah.
And so it's like this emphasis on you have to trust that God is going to provide each day.
Right.
You can't try to.
You can't take things into your own hands.
Take matters into your own hands and hoard and save.
Yeah.
You have to just trust that it'll be there tomorrow.
Just enough for today.
Right.
Trust that tomorrow will be taken care of.
Right. And the text even says that when the sun grew hot, it melted away.
Oh, wow.
So it's like you can't even save it.
Can't save it.
If you wanted to, it's going to melt.
Yeah, it's going to be gone.
So it's really designed to be gathered and used
each day.
Each day.
Yeah, fresh every day.
Fresh every day.
Yeah. But there's an exception to this daily rule, and that's the Sabbath.
The Sabbath.
On the 6th day.
Okay.
God tells them to gather twice as much.
Right.
2 omers per person.
Okay.
And when the leaders of the community saw this, they were like, wait a second.
This isn't right.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
This is weird.
Yeah, this is different.
And they actually went to Moses and asked him about it.
Yeah.
So they were following the instructions.
They were paying attention.
Right, they were paying attention.
Yeah.
They noticed something was different.
Right.
And they wanted clarification.
Yeah.
And Moses explained it to them. Tomorrow is to be a day of Sabbath rest.
Okay.
A holy Sabbath to the Lord. So bake what you want to bake and boil what you want to boil.
Okay.
Save whatever is left and keep it until morning.
All right.
So prepare for the Sabbath.
Yeah, get ready for a day of rest.
On the 6th day.
Right.
And so they did.
Okay.
They gathered twice as much. They saved it. And guess what?
What?
It didn't stink.
It didn't go bad.
It didn't get maggots.
Wow.
It was perfectly preserved
Right.
until the morning. So it's like God was
Yeah.
making it very clear
Yeah.
that the Sabbath was special.
Yeah, set apart.
Yeah, set apart,
Yeah.
a holy day,
Mm-hmm.
right?
A day of rest.
But even after all this, some people still went out on the 7th day.
They tried to gather.
Yeah, to gather manna.
Did they find any?
And they found none.
Yeah.
So God was like,
I told you.
I literally just told you not to do that.
And the Lord actually said to Moses, quote, "How long will you refuse to keep my commands and my instructions?"
It's like a parent just told their kid to do something 5 times.
Yes.
And they still haven't done it.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then God makes this explicit connection.
Between the manna and the Sabbath, he says, quote, "Bear in mind that the Lord has given you the Sabbath.
Okay.
That is why on the 6th day, he gives you bread for 2 days."
So you don't have to go out on the 7th day.
Everyone is to stay where they are on the 7th day.
Right.
No one is to go out.
Don't even try it.
And then the text simply says, so the people rested on the 7th day.
What?
Ain't got it.
Yeah.
So this mysterious bread that they've been eating, it gets a name.
What's it called?
It's called manna.
Manna.
And the text describes it as white, like coriander seed, and tasted like wafers made with honey.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, sounds kind of tasty.
Yeah, a little sweet.
Right.
Like a little dessert.
Like a dessert bread, almost.
Right.
And then God tells Moses to preserve an omer of manna in a jar for future generations.
So they can remember.
That guy's time in the wilderness when God provided for them.
Okay.
And Moses says, quote, "Take a jar and put an omer of manna in it.
Okay.
Then place it before the Lord to be kept for the generations to come.
Right.
So they can see the bread I gave you to eat in the wilderness when I brought you out of Egypt."
Wow. A reminder.
The reminder of God's provision.
Yeah, so they won't forget.
Don't forget where you came from.
Right.
Yeah.
And Aaron actually takes this jar of manna and puts it with the tablets of the covenant law.
Oh, wow.
So it's like this really
that's serious,
sacred, important reminder.
It's like a museum piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the manna wasn't just a short-term thing.
Okay.
They ate manna for 40 years.
Wow, 40 years.
Until they reached the border of Canaan.
The whole time they were in the wilderness.
The whole time.
Wow.
So it's this long-term provision.
Yeah.
This constant reminder.
Of God's faithfulness.
Wow. That's incredible.
And the text even clarifies what an omer is.
Oh, yeah. What's an omer?
It's 1/10 of an ephah.
Okay, so it's a specific measurement.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
Right.
For context.
So as we come to the end of our deep dive into this story.
It's a powerful story.
It is.
Yeah.
It was more than just, oh, look, God sent food from heaven.
It's about trust.
It's about trust.
Obedience.
Obedience. It's about God testing the Israelites.
Right.
And seeing if they will follow his instructions.
Yeah. Are they going to do what they say?
Yeah, exactly. And it's also about the Sabbath.
Yeah.
And how
that's a key part of it.
The Sabbath is so important.
Yeah.
And God's provision was designed to ensure that they would rest.
Yeah, he built it right into the system.
It's this beautiful picture of God's care and his provision.
Yeah.
And the importance of following his guidance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it makes you think, you know.
It does.
What does manna look like in our lives today? Right. Obviously, we're not
literal manna.
Not going to have bread falling from the sky.
Yeah. Maybe it's those moments when we really need something.
Yeah.
And it just shows up.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly.
Right. Right.
Or maybe it's, we get some guidance that we weren't expecting.
Yeah. Like out of the blue.
Yeah. It just kind of comes to us.
Yeah.
And it leads us in the right direction.
Right. And maybe, just like the Israelites, our response to those moments reveals something about our own level of trust in God.
Yeah, how much do we really trust?
Yeah. Do we really trust that he's going to provide? Or are we going to try to hoard and save?
Take things into our own hands.
And do things our own way.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I think that's a great question for the listener to consider.
To ponder.
Yeah, what are those seemingly ordinary, maybe even overlooked daily provisions in your life that you might be taking for granted?
Right.
And are there maybe some underlying instructions?
Ooh, I like that.
You know, some fundamental principles or guiding wisdom that come hand in hand with those provisions that are quietly requiring your ongoing attention.
Right.
Your active trust.
And your obedience.
Your obedience, yeah.
Yeah. So how does this ancient story apply to your life today?
Yeah, how can you view your own experiences?
Right.
Your challenges, your moments of unexpected support.
Yeah.
Your reliance on something greater than yourself.
Through this lens of the manna story.
Of the manna and the quail.
Yeah.
That's something to think about.
I think so too.
Yeah. I'd encourage you to keep thinking about these questions to see how they might apply to your own life.
And to your own understanding of the world.
Because these ancient stories,
they have a way of speaking to us across time and cultures.
Offering wisdom and insight.
That can help us navigate our own journeys.
So until next time, keep searching for the truth.
Wherever it may lead you.